evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Triggered. I'm your host, Zachary Clark, and you know my co-host, Adam Furman. Adam, how are you doing tonight?
No.
You're not doing...
I got an estimate on electrical work, and I'm not happy. So
yeah, we talked about that. I said...
Let's just leave it at that.
It's like I told your wife, yeah, you're good enough. Just climb up there with some pliers, some linemans, and some wire. You fix that right up.
Yeah, I've got my life insurance paid up.
I forgot to tell you all that we're coming to you live from inside a shipping container on a stalled boat in the Suez Canal.
Very particular.
Which ship could it be? I was going to say specifically the blocked ship, the Ever Given. I don't know. I hear they were floating it and moving it a little, so perhaps it will be loose. But we'll get into that. Don't you worry, folks. Don't you worry. Because as the title of the episode betrays, we'll be discussing an uncomfortable blockage today. But first, we're going to see what's new from the scanner. Scanner Radio. Fight season continues, friends, and boy howdy, we got our first bat fight of the year.
Oh no.
From the inbox. What's going on between 7th Spruce and 7th Sycamore? 8 cops, bunch of juveniles, and a car boxed in 1 hour ago. And someone knows. Have you heard about a fight at 5th and Sycamore? 30 or more with bats. At least 4 cop cars.
My gosh.
People scattered all directions. Some captured up by 7th and Sycamore. Some subjects are being processed, arrested, activity booking, etc. at the QPD headquarters. Transported to youth home for lodging.
Greasers from the 50s.
It's a doozy. The first big fight of the year is a 30-person bat fight between 2 blocks. Can't stop, won't stop, and for our scanner segment, I hope it don't stop. But I mean, hey.
I've never seen like more than 5 people cumulative outside gathered in one area, unless it's like a big event, like the Grand Prix or something.
You're hanging out in the wrong parts of town, Adam.
Yeah, apparently.
Or the right parts, I suppose, if you don't want to get involved in a 30-person bat fight.
There'll be pipes and machetes by the end of the year.
It'll look like that scene from what's that show with oh my gosh, what's going on here? Ron Burgundy.
Oh yes, Anchorman.
Anchorman, where they're fighting out in the street with the other news crews.
Yeah. Someone brings a trident.
Yeah, it was Rick.
I've seen that movie once.
It was pretty good. I will say that that's what that reminds me of. There'll be people out there with tridents and machetes and things going to town on each other, and there'll be like a huge mob of like 30 people or whatever. Other news, local news, off of the scanner itself. More mysterious booms in the news. There were several of these all week. And once again, people are just nonplussed by it at all. From the inbox.
What do you mean, Zach? You mean the thunderstorms?
No. Just random booms. Unexplainable. From the inbox, just heard a loud boom at 40th and Harrison. Any ideas on what it is? Excuse me, I've had tons of gas lately. Ha ha ha, fun joke. Wondering that too, 40th and Main. Transformer landed to take over the planet. We heard it at 7th in Ohio. I heard it at 18th too. Eyes looking around emoji. It woke my whole house up. Someone could be blasting, question mark. Heard it too, what was it? It was the dynamite. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the dynamite underneath the town.
Yeah, apparently. Nobody has any answers. Another meth lab going up? Someone speculates.
Oh, no.
No information at all. Mysterious booms woke up half the town. Yesterday night. And we have no answers at all.
Yeah, it's that mine underneath the town.
Apparently, I don't know. Because it's like, I don't know. It feels like
go
it's
that
bigger.
far out to 48?
I don't know. We need to get to the bottom of this. I'll have to do some investigative reporting to find out what you guys...
Wear a dark jacket and just try to go in those tunnels.
I don't know. I've seen enough, reports of suspicious-looking men get reported to the police all the time. Just because they're walking around in fashionable boater coats. So I'm wearing like some black jacket sneaking into the mines. I think that might be on to me pretty quick.
Just wear your bandana so they know you're harmless.
Oh, not that guy. He loves America. He wouldn't do anything. Look at his headband.
He's just investigating justice.
Justice! Squaw! Oh, man.
It's an inside joke that never... Okay.
I need to finish writing that.
You gotta finish that.
Maybe we'll do a dramatic reading of True American.
a teleplay?
Oh, that'd be excellent. We could all each have parts in it.
It could be our first non-live stream release. We just upload it on a Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, before we get too deep into this, I did want to make the announcement that we're going to be taking a triggered vacation for the month of April. There will be no triggered for the month of April. You guys will have to get caught up on all of the past episodes and all of our antics and hijinks that we've gotten up to over this. It's probably going on. When did we start? I think it was in July, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, coming up on, a year soonly. So, take a little hiatus, decompress. This is definitely not because I'm going to be out of town for a number of Fridays in April. We won't be able to do it anyway. But, just so you know, don't be alarmed. And we'll post an announcement, and it'll say to all of our many a follower, I believe we're up to 5 on the old Twitch space, that we'll be back after these messages. Are you tired of your favorite podcast going on hiatus for a month? Well, you're in luck. They've got a back catalog almost a year old of 26 hours of content that you can go back and watch. Go all the way back to the beginning and relive episode 1. And you'll be rip-roaring.
Featuring Kid interrupting.
And all those episodes of Ice Cold Facts. You'll be rip-roaring ready to go for more Trigger come May. Speaking of rip-roaring ready to go, something that's not, and that's the Suez Canal. You folks probably heard about this, but there was a little jam up in the Suez Canal causing a shipping ship, the container ship, to get wedged across the Suez Canal, blocking traffic and holding up commerce for all of Europe for a few days now. It is the Ever Given is the name of the ship, and it's the Evergreen Shipping Company, I believe. And this is a photograph of this massive container ship. And the way this is pictured and viewed, it really doesn't give it justice. But if you look down here in the corner, that is a giant excavator. And that is what it looks like compared to this massive ship when it's trying to dig it out. Later down in this thread, this guy here jokes it's like it's a Lego one. But it's a huge thing. The ship is just absolutely giant. But, like, okay, alright. It is a giant excavator, but it's literally doing nothing. Look at this thing. Hold on.
Yeah,
I think they have a zoomed in one over here someplace. Oh, yeah, here we go.
They do, because he made a joke about gonna take 300 years or something
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
ready.
And this is the excavator that they brought in to free him. So our champ's gonna be free of this mortifying situation in about 300 years. Oh, sad, sad. Millions of dollars an hour being lost to this terrible tragedy. And
We gotta pick out of the shipping, like the GPS triangles and stuff showing the ships.
oh yeah,
How they're just like blocked.
yeah. I don't know where they get these maps from, but this is the Suez Canal, and this shows where it's blocked, and all these ships they can't get through, and they're jammed up. And if you're in there already, what are you even gonna do? Because like, what are you go reverse style? Just like back
Yeah.
out?
What are you gonna do? Try and turn around? You can't do that
You can't
either.
turn-
'Cause
they
then you're gonna
It's like that.
two ships stuck.
As I saw, it was you remember Austin Powers? Do you remember the film Austin Powers?
I know what you're talking about. Yes, I've seen like bits and pieces of like all of them, so I don't even know. I don't have a full coherent.
There's this one bit where Austin Powers is on like this electric cart in a narrow hallway. And then he like 3-point turns himself.
Oh, yeah.
He just keeps backing up and going forward to get turned around, and eventually he's just like stuck between the walls.
Yeah.
That's what it would be like. Someone actually did a meme, and it was the Ever Given, and it was Austin Powers writing it in that hallway. Really quite good. This little tragedy sparked a boatload of memes. Get it? Because it's boat.
Yeah.
But before we moved on, I did want to say that it's believed to be. Well, they aren't sure exactly how it happened yet, but they believe the wind was involved. However, this is the GPS coordinates that the boat traced as it was floating down the canal before it got stuck. Awfully coincidental to be caused by the wind, unless this is this is just divine providence itself, and God sending us a message.
Yeah.
We'll let you folks do your own Rorschach analysis on what this image is.
It's a message. What does it say?
It's a message from the Lord!
Oh, no, I don't think he's happy with us.
Oh, man. But, likely to ease tomorrow. But this was 2 days ago when this went out, so not eased yet. Still ongoing. But they're making progress. Soon the Suez Canal will be freed. But people couldn't wait. They couldn't wait for their knickknacks, doodads, perishable goods that might have been on any of those ships. So they had to go old school, man. They had to go around the Cape of Good Hope.
Ooh.
Ooh, and they had another one of these sweet shipping arrow maps. And it shows all the traffic now that's flowing around the Cape of Good Hope, south of Africa here.
Yeah, bringing a lot of jobs to Cape Town and stuff, right?
No, I don't imagine. I imagine they steam on past and go to the destination.
Flip them the bird and keep going.
Yeah, but I don't know.
We're not stopping here. You overcharge for gas.
Unlike the Suez Canal, I don't imagine they can charge a toll to travel between the Cape of Good Hope and Antarctica. I mean, unless the passage was narrowed in some... Oh no, Adam, I'm getting word. I'm getting word. Another...
Is this some breaking news?
Breaking news. We've had another shipping blockage. This time between the Cape of Good Hope and Antarctica itself. Oh my gosh. Another evergreen shipping container the size of the gap between Antarctica and the Cape of Good Hope has wedged itself between the shipping passage around the Horn. Oh no, Adam, what will we do? Oh wait. Looks like there's still a narrow way through.
Oh, okay, good.
Someone identified on the map that you could that you can still get through this small gap. However, the Antarcticans have structured some sort of advanced toll system, so that they're making out like bandits in this situation that's developed. Charging all... Wait, oh! Adam. We're getting a new word. There's been another tragic blockage in the new Antarctic Canal. Oh my gosh. Another evergreen ship. It's gotten wedged between Antarctica and the other evergreen ship that got wedged between the Cape of Good Hope and Antarctica, blocking off the Antarctic Canal. I saw this earlier today, and I was completely buckled, and it still gets me. This is wonderful. People kept going. They're like, well, I guess it's time to circumnavigate Antarctica then.
Oh no!
Oh, to the Arctic then. Oh no! Oh no!
That's so dumb.
They just kept going. It was wonderful. Oh, couldn't get enough. And someone had my exact feeling. Why can I feel the glee rolling off of these memes? It was just pure joy. 100%. Oh, but it's a tough time to be in shipping, I tell you. They'll never financially recover from this. Just like we might never financially recover from this Biden presidency.
Oh,
more evidence has emerged that the president might not be all there.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about those mean tweets that former President Trump said last year, right?
No, I'm talking about the current president, Joe Biden, and how his brain is Swiss cheese, and I don't know how they're able to just keep on going like this, but it's kind of weird. Uh, Biden was doing a bill signing, I believe, and they had the press in there taking pictures of him and stuff. And he got done signing, and he looked over at some guy named Ron. Who I don't know who that is, and it is not made clear in this post. And it's like, Ron, who am I turning this over to? Because he's confused and he doesn't even know what's happening. And Ron Klain says, thank you very much, Mr. President. I think it's time for our friends in the press to leave, though. Before they start discussing how the president doesn't even know what he just signed or who it's supposed to go to or what's happening at all or who he is or where he's at.
Yeah. Not good. Not good. But I did read someone say, what did they say? It was on Twitter. It says, the president's supposed to represent the people. And so what better person to have in the office of the White House right now than Joe Biden? Someone who doesn't know what he's doing, where he's at, what needs to be done.
Well, and dementia rates are skyrocketing with the aging population, so I guess he really does represent a large number of people that are suffering from that debilitating disease.
Yeah, that's not what I was getting at, but okay.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. There were several people that were...
It's a metaphor, Zach.
I'm too literal for all of this.
Yeah, okay.
What's the... I don't know. It's like you're speaking a foreign language to me. I don't even know what that means. But... on top of that, I mean, in order to show the world about how lucid and coherent and cognizant of what's happening in the world, Joe Biden decided to carry out a press conference, a completely open question forum, for him to take questions from the press that completely were not pre-screened, and any correspondent to the White House could participate in this.
Okay, sounds good.
He went out, and it was because he's so open and transparent that he's had all of 0 of these except for this one since he took office in January. Well, we got one, and he went and talked to the press, and he was a stumbling, bumbling Joe. I didn't watch the whole thing, so I don't know, but so some people were probably cherry-picking off some of the brain malfunctioned, but this one was a good one.
So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway.
The best way to get something done, if you hold it near and dear to you and you want to get... anyway.
Skip.
We're going to get a lot done.
We're going to get a lot done. Oh, poor Joe. His brain, it wasn't quite as bad as Nancy Pelosi's that one time, but he had to reboot.
Oh my gosh.
He had to hit the restart button on his brain there and get going back to the beginning. Turn it off and turn it back on again. Good morning.
Sunday morning.
Friday morning. Oh. So, but, so whatever. This is par for the course. This is what's going to be. Every time he talks, there's going to be more and more evidence of this, and people are going to, cover it up and push it aside. And people that don't like Joe Biden are going to bring it forward and say, look, he's unfit. 25th Amendment. Where did we hear that before? 25th Amendment gets Joe out of office. They've got to sign it. He's incompetent. He's not fit. All the screechers on either side, and it's like they're exactly the same. But you might say, no, it's different this time because Joe really is unfit. Yeah, those idiots on the left, just like the idiots on the right, think Joe's unfit or whatever. He might be, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not examining the guy. But the idiots on the left, they truly believed that Donald Trump was unfit. And he might have been too. I don't know. He's an old man. And I've heard him talk enough to have questions myself about his brain function. But hypocrisy will not stand on the Triggered podcast. I'll call it out. But regardless, what really got me about this is I found this, and it was somebody who brought up the Orange Man but didn't even mention his name. Just the specter of the Orange Man, and they said, at least he doesn't tweet mean things, ... You know? So just like the comparison then, the natural comparison that they're doing to the last president who's defeated by Joe comes out. And then we get a immediate reply. Just a reminder, this man has the nuclear football, so yeah. So, you know, they're trumping up, so they're saying, oh no, you know, not only is he incompetent, and we got rid of him just because we didn't like the mean tweets, because that's the only reason that people didn't like Donald Trump. But we put this geriatric in charge of the nuclear launch codes football. Okay. And then this guy, called Bucks Lifer, chimes in, apparently a football fan. He said, it's not a football, and definitely would rather have him than Trump talking about Easter again. I don't even know what that means.
Oh, that's a weird thing to say.
Well, then the next guy says, we got a new guy chime in, and he goes, if you call that talking, then okay. Because now he's ripping on Biden, saying that he can't even coherently communicate sentences. And then Buck Slifer comes back and says, I prefer that than lying brazenly. And now they're getting into a, yeah, your guy sucks, but my guy sucks less than your guy. And then the guy chimes in and he says, whatever, cupcake. And then Buck Slifer comes back and says, good one, snowflake. It's readily apparent that it's like they are identical.
Oh, definitely.
It's like, it's like that Spider-Man meme.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah. All you people, you take a step back. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Cry a little if you have to. Get a hold of yourselves. Yeah. All of this could have been avoided if our political system wasn't so incompetent that the people running for president in 2016 were Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And further, if the Democrats had put in any kind of lucid, moderate Democrat younger than the age of 70, it wouldn't have been susceptible to this stuff. Not particularly all the shady dealings they had around the election, too. It's like there was obviously a deal struck at some point to get all those challengers to bow out of the election on Super Tuesday. It's like, it felt like dominoes. Like, we're not going to have a Trump situation where we have like 10 guys going deep into this primary.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Pete. Mayor Pete, we'll get you a good job in transportation.
They were afraid of another like Bernie Sanders situation.
Bernie didn't even drop out though. Same thing stuck, and then you had all the Bernie bros butt hurt again because there was a grand conspiracy to.
Who won Iowa?
Did he win Iowa?
I don't know who did.
I don't know either.
It was like delayed, and even on Super Tuesday, it was still like delayed results because of malfunction, something or other.
Oh, our
I didn't
electoral
know.
system is working like a greased machine right now. Let's see. Who won the Iowa Democrat Caucus 2020? We'll get to the bottom of this. I'm sure they've got that figured out by now. Iowa Democratic Caucus results from February 21. Pete Buttigieg got 26.2% and 14 delegates from Iowa. Bernie was in second place with 26.1% and 12 delegates, even though it looks like Bernie Sanders got 45,000 votes and Pete Buttigieg only got 43,200. Third place, Elizabeth Warren. Fourth place, Joe Biden. And fifth place, Amy Klobuchar. Show more candidates. Andrew Yang, 0. Tom Steyer, Michael Bloomberg. Oh, remember when Michael Bloomberg thought he could run for president by spending $500 million?
Yeah.
It didn't work.
No, that's one of those weird things about like money and politics and stuff. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You got to have like the power in politics isn't the money. It's all the other connections and stuff.
I don't know, Adam. I've heard that a handful of Ukrainian hackers could sway the entire 2016 presidential election in favor of Donald Trump.
So Michael Bloomberg should have just spent all that money on Facebook ads.
He probably could have dropped only like 10 grand and been twice as effective if what I've heard about the 2016 Russian influence campaign had on the presidential election.
I mean, shoot, he could have created his own news site. I mean, Bloomberg News.
He could even infiltrate the legal research field with his own legal researching tool.
Oh. And even, stocks with the trading terminals and.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if he implemented all of those business ideas, then he'd be unstoppable. No one can defeat him, especially if he spent $500 million.
That is an interesting point, though. Is he just incompetent? Like, what's the...
I don't think anybody liked him, and I don't think they liked the idea that he was like swooping in. He didn't put in the legwork, and on top of that,
he was like a liberal New York City Republican. I mean. That's a very niche thing to be.
Yeah, a liberal billionaire New York City Republican running for president in the Democratic primary.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, unclear.
He's got like the stop and frisk stuff attached to him, and then he's got the. I don't know.
Yeah, but everybody from New York's got that attached to them, though. They just hide it when it's not, liberal Republican or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it seemed like he didn't have friends in either camp. He burned all his bridges, and he didn't have enough in one, and he didn't have enough followers in the other. If both sides hate me, I must be doing something right.
That's not right. No. You're doing something wrong. Everyone hates you. You're trying to be a politician. That's not how that works. Oh. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's something about big city mayors, though, just in general. Being like nut jobs that don't really fit the paradigm.
You can get big city mayors, I don't know about big city mayors. Big city individuals become president. You have your name plastered around buildings that you own, and then you can become president.
Yeah, I don't think that's why Trump was really popular when he ran because he had all of his TV shows and stuff.
That's not why.
That's why everybody knew him. They would watch The Apprentice on primetime. I know Trump.
Okay.
I like it when he fires a guy.
I watched him on the network when they moved Survivor or whatever from Tuesdays.
Yeah. So that's why I think, I don't know, because there's like it was his time. It's not the first. Didn't he run for president like the 80s or 90s or something? I can't remember.
Who?
Trump.
Oh, I don't know.
I think he was like a third party candidate or something at one point. I don't know.
No, Ross Perot.
Ross Perot. Ross Perot is an interesting fellow. Maybe we'll get into Ross Perot one of these days. Oh, the Bane. We'll just instead of Durin's Bane, Bush's Bane, Ross Perot.
Oh, definitely.
Bush delved too deep, and he summoned Perot, and he could not be defeated. They fixed that though, so now they will unfairly shut out any kind of third party, no matter how popular they are, so they can't spoil the two party nonsense that happens.
No, it was fine. It was fine back then, but when who was it? Nader. And he siphoned some stuff from Gore.
Yeah, in the 20.
That's when you change it.
In the 2000s.
That's when you change it.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have a the biggest problem with that wasn't Ralph Nader's involvement. It was that nobody liked Al Gore. And he couldn't pull Florida by more than
Yeah,
or
he's
lost
like a robot.
Florida by 1,000 votes or whatever it was. So Adam, I don't know if you heard this, but there might be a race problem in this country.
What?
Have you heard? We might have a race problem in this country.
Formula One season starting? Ending?
No, like blacks and whites and Asians. And
Oh, I did
Are
hear.
there other
I did hear about something
Native
from
people.
a very cool cabinet position, Secretary of Transportation.
They're all
Is this where you going?
No, I was not. What was Pete getting up to? I don't know if I even saw it.
He has this weird. It's a weird infographic about pedestrian fatalities.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, I think I got that.
It's one of those things. It's just like a weird thing. A weird. We need to make this equal. Is that what you're trying to do? I don't know what you're trying to do, dude.
Yeah, you gotta make it equal.
Mow over more people.
I don't know. I know that's the thing. Like, I don't get that stuff. I don't know. Well, I'll pull it up. I think you sent it to me in my Twitter. Oh yes, Secretary Pete. He's got a cool infographic for you people.
Leave you scratching your heads.
All right. Pete says, these disparities are awful, but we know how to fix them. It's time to reverse these patterns of exclusion and invest in safer, equitable streets. And it says, the burden is not shared equally. And we have relative pedestrian danger by race and ethnicity. And we have all population is 63. I don't even know what these numbers mean. All population is 63.3. I don't know.
I don't know what that means. Is that Megalopolis? population, the all metropolitan areas.
Is
So our population
is it like
in the
a
U.S. is like 360 million.
maybe it's like a pedestrian danger by 100,000 people, 63.3 or 1,000. I don't know, 100,000. I figured that'd be way more. I've seen enough idiots trying to run in traffic to know that if you had 100,000 of them, then more than 63 and a third of them would run into the street.
One of my first weekends at the college town, someone got hit by a train. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
but we need to solve this disparity.
that's one of the statistics on this chart. And so if you take 1,000 Asians / Pacific Islanders and you let them play around a road, only 30 and a half of them will be endangered. Whereas for white non-Hispanic people, 53.5 would be endangered. Hispanic folks and Latinxs, which must be a new ethnicity I've never heard of, they have 55.1. Black or African Americans have 89.6. And American Indian or Alaskan Natives have 111.5. I think that's the one that baffles me. Because I can get around some of this other stuff because I don't know, a lot of the statistics about poor black folks, because they live in more urban environments, we're going to have a lot more traffic stuff going on. That seems to make sense. You have a higher population density and more crime. They're involved in more shootings and criminal activity generally. Poorer people, too, in general, are more susceptible, and because of whatever reason, I mean, probably, you could probably, and they do extrapolate back to, like, racial inequities and whatever, and that's one of the reasons why the black population in the country is poorer, but poor people are more subject to a lot of this stuff, too, and so you always see these charts, and it's like, heart disease, obesity, oh, look, the more black people than the proportion of their population suffers from these things. It's obviously racism. And I'm like, you can't do that. That doesn't show racism. That shows a correlation between being black and having diabetes or whatever. But you don't know why there's a correlation between those things. They just put up the statistic and then it proves it. It's the same thing.
Yeah. You make your own conclusions.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like wage gaps, unemployment,
don't even.
Unemployment rates.
Yeah,
that's interesting, and it's a starting point because now you have a thing, right? You have if you take all of the women and you put working women and you put them in a bucket, and you take all the working men and you put them in a bucket, and then you divide them by however much money it is. It turns out that the money that the working women make per working woman is less than the amount of money that working men make by working man. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. And I say, well, I wonder why that is. And I would think to try to, like, you could tweak your survey, take different kinds of survey. You could isolate different variables that might impact it and actually, like, filter down to why and what are the root causes of those things. Yeah.
Filter by industry.
Right.
Community, rural, urban.
Right. Work interruption, continuous employment situation, stuff like this.
Marital status.
Yeah.
I mean, just you could play around with all. If you had a good enough survey done, you could play around with the statistics and find the root cause of whatever you're trying to.
Yeah, and then you can conduct more targeted studies to try to, like, flesh this out even further and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
But no, they don't do that. They just say, obviously, it's 'cause you hate ladies. They don't get paid as much money. And it's like, that's not what that means. You have no idea. It's just, it shows a correlation. It shows that for whatever reason, being a lady in general means that you make less money, generally. And you can go through and you can say, because you can say, all right, I work at a fast food restaurant slinging tacos, and the girl that slings tacos makes just as much money as me. So it's not true in that situation. So it's not like universally true that women just get paid less for doing the same work. Which is what I believe back in the day was the thing, because ladies would just get paid less money for doing the same kind of job. Like, you don't need it as much as John Smith. He's got a family to raise, lady. You're just here for feminist reasons, whatever. But we'll throw you a bone. You get half the wage of Joe, etc., etc. That's not fair, they said. And they said, you need to pay us the same for doing the same work. Equal pay for equal work. That's what that means. You're both digging a ditch. You're both getting paid the same wage for digging that ditch. Based on your gender, sex, race, whatever. And you got the protected categories, etc., etc. You can't pay somebody a different wage than somebody else because of protected reasons.
Right.
And that's the current law. It is illegal to do that.
Yes.
And if you think it's doing that and you can prove it, then you can sue them and get money. Make them pay. That's the law. So I don't know how we make that any more the law. But that seems to be what they're saying. All this stuff just seems to be like a back-ended argument to try to get to some sort of quotas and affirmative action plans. I don't like any of that. But no, I was talking about the other thing. The other race thing.
I don't know.
Sesame Street has new Muppets.
Oh, no.
And they did a sketch. And in it, it's Elmo. He's in a park with this kid. And this black kid Muppet. And the black kid Muppet's dad. And I think Elmo asks him why he's got brown skin. Or something to do like leaves. Elmo picks up a red leaf. This red leaf's like my fur. And he's like, oh, this brown leaf's like your skin. And he's like, oh, why is that? And then the dad comes in and he says, things on the outside like our skin color, hair texture, our noses, mouths, and eye color make us who we are. Many people call this race.
Your outside makes you who you are?
Yeah, that's what this short clip of a video from Sesame Street was saying.
I will have you know that I am on chapter 24, 25 of The Little Prince, reading it to my children, and it talks about the things that matter most are those invisible, and you can only see them with the heart.
Incorrect. Phrenology. It's what you look like on the outside.
Oh my gosh. That is disturbing.
Yeah, no, because it's weird. It's a weird thing that's going on. It seems pretty regressive kinds of stuff, but it's basically going back to this idea that a racial identity is something that is valuable and should be cultivated, and I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't have a racial identity like that. So some people would call that one of my various privileges that I carry, because I don't have to worry about constructing some elaborate racial identity. It used to be like this, and I can sort of understand this argument. I believe it's Michael Eric Dyson. He's a professor. I can't remember what he studies, but anyway, he was doing a debate one time. Stephen Fry and Jordan Peterson were on one side of it, and him and this lady were on the other side. And he's talking about it, And it's like at one point, you as whatever oppressed minority group are having your racial identity thrust upon you by the oppressive system or whatever is going on. So you don't have the privilege of not cultivating some sort of racial identity because people say you're black and so you have to be like this, or you're like that. Black people are like this and you're black. Black, 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 you're a black guy. And so then as a defense mechanism, you sort of build that into this positive identity and you coalesce in a community around it. It happens like, like your sexual preferences, and so like gay identity, and so then, people are like, oh, gays, we don't like those guys. And so then they construct these social constructs to exclude them and oppress them. So then all the gays get together and then they say, yeah, but being gay is cool, man, pride and whatever. And then it builds up that's something that they need to create a bulwark against this thing that's attacking them. Because you and I, as white guys, have never been tried to be painted into a race box. That we don't have the same defense mechanism coming down the pipe. But I just thought it was interesting, the Sesame Street thing, because it sort of is touching on those things without the context of why those positive racial identities were cultivated and created. It's now just said, we've almost forgotten that history and that context, and now it's just like, it's just a natural good for people of race, different race group, to have a almost elitist identity regarding this valuable part of who they are based on the way that they look, based on what their race is. And I said, I don't think that sounds good.
It can lead to some problems.
That sounds like some 19th century fun stuff that we left in the 19th and 20th century.
Yeah, I thought we left that in the 20th century.
Yeah, we decided that was bad. You're not supposed to split people up by race. You're not supposed to care about the color of their skin. You're supposed to care about the content of their character, I believe. It's the famous way that went. Your Little Prince, what's on the inside matters. You gotta look with your heart. You can't just look at a guy and say, it's a white guy.
That was written in the 30s, too, I think. So, I mean...
Yeah, that was old school woke. When people believed in equality under the law and non-discrimination.
30s in France. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where we went out the window. But our friend George, Alexopoulos, drew this wonderful cartoon based on it. But it was sort of reverse rift, and it highlights how this becomes an issue, particularly when you start driving white folks into having a white racial identity. We've got legally distinct Elma sitting on a bench with a boy named Heinrich. Heinrich, why is your skin white? And then off panel we have things on the outside like our skin color, hair texture, our noses, mouths, and eye color make us who we are. Direct quote from Sesame Street. And then the next panel we've got Charlie Chaplin himself coming in, and he says, many people call this race. And Elmo's a little panicked at this point. Because he's heard about Chaplin's anti-monster rhetoric. And it's like, obviously, this is exactly what this is it, right? It's like, all right. No, man, it's not that. It's cool to have an elitist and tribalistic attitude regarding race. That doesn't mean that it's not cool to be another race, man, unless you're white. Or Asian, apparently, nowadays. Because they've adopted whiteness into their hearts. So the Asians, they're on the outs too.
That's apparently.
But some people didn't get the hint, including a guy, and sadly, his fun tweets got deleted. But you may know who Candace Owens is.
Oh, yeah.
Candace Owens is a black lady and a conservative. And you also may have heard that there was a shooting in Boulder, Colorado, wherein a man shot up a grocery store and killed 10 people. Anyway, I think this might have been related to that, but Candace came on the Twitter space and she's like, the number one violent offenders against black people are other black people. The number one violent offenders against Asian Americans are also black people. But both Black Lives Matters and Asian Lives Matters are campaigns dedicated to stomping out white supremacy because clown world. Clown, clown, clown emojis.
Yeah.
And then a man replied to Candace Owens. A white man replied to Candace Owens, a black woman, with a picture and a caption. And the caption says, I think you dropped this. And it was a Ku Klux Klan hood. And he didn't think there was anything wrong with that. He's like, oh, that's what? You're clearly being the racist one, Candace, because you're going against woke ideology, and woke ideology is the anti-racism. And so because you're the racist, I can drop this picture of a Klan hood in your Twitter timeline.
Yeah. It's outrageous.
The people that for generations terrorized black communities across the nation, killing many, doing all sorts of horrible things. He put it in there because he thought it was fine. He didn't think there was anything of it. Well, Candace took offense, and she went ahead and filed a police report.
Yeah.
The police will explain to you why you can't send Klansman hoods to black people. I just completed the police report locally, which will be transferred to Riverside County. I did this on behalf of all black conservatives everywhere who are sick and tired of unchecked racist Democrats. So, to get this, to just put a fine pin on this, the anti-racist, woke Democrat who is actually running for Congress,
yes,
sent a black woman conservative a Klan hood because she was the racist. And then he immediately deleted his tweets and locked his Twitter account.
Oh, he locked it? He locked it down?
Yeah. Well, actually, his first tweet was deleted because it violated the Twitter rules.
So he's probably suspended and he had to delete it upon condition.
Yeah, as it is, because that's a historical threat against black people.
Yes, absolutely.
You would hide a Klan hood in their mailbox or whatever as a threat.
Right.
And well, apparently that this is the new anti-racism. That's what you do. You drop Klan hoods on black people's Twitter feeds. Seems bad. I'm not.
Do not recommend.
Do not recommend. Oh, we got a comment. Oh, that's why we don't let Catholics in. Oh, we gotta keep everything separate.
Catholics into what?
Anywhere. No papists allowed, Adam. Oh, except for our president currently. Oh, he's a papist.
Well, I don't know. Depending on who you listen to, he's not a real one. So.
Oh, speaking of. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's oftentimes you'll get those things because old Joe Biden, he supports a woman's right to choose, and the church is not exactly a fan of that. Similarly, the Greek Orthodox Church is also not a fan of abortionists.
Yeah,
and
they're a lot more straightforward with that, I feel.
Well, there was some news about that. And we've got this post that says, "Based, Archbishop Markiaros tells abortion-loving Greek..." It's double scare-quoted Greek Orthodox politicians to repent. Yeah, it says, 2 Greek Australian politicians singled out from Independence Day celebrations organized by the Archdiocese. "We were deliberately snubbed because we support the legalization of abortion law." They both received correspondence from the Greek Orthodox Church of Australia, chastising them, suggesting that penitence for their views on abortion law reform, which was voted and passed recently in South Australian Parliament. So he said, repent. Repent of your sins of legalizing abortion. I don't know. I don't think that's a sin, frankly. Legalizing abortion. Having an abortion and conducting one, I'd say certainly. But making it so that it's not a state crime to commit one, probably not a sin. What do you think about that?
I disagree.
How is it a
the
sin?
State should be the state should be the sword, and the state should be, is authority set by God in His place on the earth to rule in His stead. And so there's certain accountability and authority placed onto them, and then they should. We've discussed this before. Rule according to His word, and if not, there shall be judgment and accountability either on the rulers, which in a democracy would be all of us. There's just great responsibility and accountability on the rulers. Parliament would be 400 people or whatever, as opposed to just one king as the scapegoat if they mess up.
I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
It'd be like it's a sin not to go to church on Sunday.
Murder. It's a sin, but you know what? We're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
It's completely lawless.
It's not a sin.
Oh, you're saying the action? Oh no, I still, I don't know. I haven't thought about it too much. Whether or not the action of legalizing immoral criminal behavior.
It's not. See, that's the thing, because you reverse the intention. They're in a natural state. You don't give permission from the government to do things. You can only restrict people. I'm a free person. I can do whatever I want. The government can only say, don't do that. They can't say, you are allowed to do that. I grant you my leave, friend.
Yeah, but it's banned.
I'm sovereign. The government's not sovereign.
The original state it was banned, and then now you can do this.
No, the original state is that we were all free men and could do whatever we like, whenever we like.
Oh, never mind. I thought you meant that there were the law with the South Australia.
Oh, yeah. No, at some point in time, a law was passed saying, no, you cannot do the abortions.
Correct. Just like at some point in time, you cannot murder, you cannot do the murder.
Yeah. They passed a law at some point and said you can't do the murder. I believe that was on Hammurabi's code, the first code that we were aware of that was written down. And it instituted a rule of law and a state sanction for something that was wrong. It wasn't a sin for the government not to instill that penalty back in 6000 BC. It was still wrong to kill somebody, just because there wasn't a law that said that you couldn't do it.
I don't know.
And obviously, in a lawless state,
look at the kings of Israel and Judah, and their permissive behavior and such. That was declared a sin. They were sinful kings.
You'd have to give me an example.
Allowing the worship of Baal and the Asherah poles erected in the Bible, those were sinful.
Yeah,
sinful.
I believe that God punished the Israelites for worshiping Baals and erecting Asherah poles.
And also those kings.
I don't think that...
allowing it. Jezebel, pretty much, she got ripped apart by dogs and stuff or whatnot.
Yeah. But it's like...
So she was not only the Israelites who were doing the bad thing in the first place, but also the rulers who put it in there too. I don't know. I haven't looked too much into that. Whether or not the action of the sovereign.
Right, if the sovereign...
immoral behavior.
And again, that's weird because, like, we don't have a king. They're not sovereign. They don't actually rule us like that.
Right.
In this
anymore.
country. So it doesn't
Correct.
really work the same way. But it's more of a... And I don't recall this, but the kings themselves were engaging in the immoral conduct. And it was in a time wherein if somebody was doing sins, doing the bad thing, then you were justified in just killing every single one of them. King or not, voice of God in your head telling you to do it. So I believe that's how the judges were chosen. And then you just pick up the jawbone of an ass and you start slewing them. You know?
Pick up a tent pike.
Yeah, nail it through a guy's head. God said, I said kill every single one of them. Why are they still alive? And Saul said, yeah, but it's a good thing that we didn't do that. And he's like, it's better for you to obey. And he said, yeah, I was actually just scared because all my guys, they wanted to keep the stuff. And so he was in command and he had control of those people to make them do, and it was his right as the king and sovereign to do that stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. In that situation, it was the acts of Saul was being condemned for. And he had the authority to kill everybody. And he didn't do it. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll never know. Let's see what chat says. I think there's some spice going on. Catholics, he says, people tried to burn my guy at the stake. His people. Talking about Catholics. Just the thought is sin. Jesus' word, not mine. Gain the world just to lose your soul. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't see it as passing a law, outlawing something, or not outlawing it. But in conducting yourself in such a way that you maintain that it is wrong to do, though not illegal to do it. Just like church on Sunday. You should be at church on Sunday. I'm not going to pass a law putting you in prison if you don't go to church on Sunday. And not passing a law, same as if you just abolished a law that was on the books that had it. It's not a sin. I hold it not a sin. And everything that I hold true on earth shall be held true in heaven.
You're doing it. You're doing the bad thing.
And all right, folks. Finally, with our final segment of the evening, we've got our ice cold fact of the night from Ice-T himself. Ice cold fact: jealousy is real on social media. Your friends will scroll past your progress. Ice cold.
Oh, that was good.
But that's our show for tonight, folks. Did you have anything you wanted to add here at the end of the show, Adam?
I did not. No.
All right, folks. We really hope you liked the show. If you did, feel free to like the video, subscribe to our channel, share it with all your friends. Say, hey, check out this cool podcast by these cool guys talk about cool stuff like bat fights and race.
Uncomfortable blockage.
Oh, that's such an uncomfortable blockage. You follow us on social media, but please don't scroll past our progress. The Triggered Media Twitter account is @triggered_media. And like I said at the top of the show, we will be taking a break for the month of April. So this is your last dose of Triggered for a month. So I hope you'll be able to contain your disappointment. Oh, sad.
Relax that blood pressure.
Really crank it up. But anyway, folks, me and the other neo-kulaks are going to take a little vacay, and we will see you next time on